In 753 BC, Romulus founded Rome, and then it was ruled by 7 kings until in 509 BC, Brutus the Liberator threw out the last king and established the Republic. The next several years were marked by wars in which Rome expanded.
For example, there were 3 Punic Wars. The first one was fought in 264 to 241 against Roman Carthage. The second one was fought 218 to 201 against Rome versus Carthage. And the third one was fought in 149 to 146.
These wars led to trouble at home as the Roman governmental structure was not designed to work with such a large amount of land. And several people had different ideas that led to major reforms, which eventually caused the Republic to fall. For example,
the Gracchi brothers sought to introduce land reform and other populist legislation. These 2 guys are named Tiberius and Gaius. Tiberius was born in 168 and he died in 133, and Gaius was born in 157 and died in 86. Marius reformed the military. He said that anyone could join the military, and this caused the soldiers to be loyal to the general and not to the army they were part of.
Sulla was a dictator during the war against Marius and set up proscription lists. He lived from 138 to 78 BC.
This generation of struggle led to the Republic finally falling between about 63 BC to 27 BC when Augustus finally became emperor. Here are several events that occurred during that time.
Catiline was someone in Rome who tried to take power, but Cicero debunked his conspiracy in 63 BC.
The first triumvirate was developed in 59 BC and consisted of Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus, but it began as a way to gain popular support and ended with Crassus dead and Pompey and Caesar at odds.
In 44 BC, Caesar sadly passed away. And then in 43, the formation of the second triumvirate was created, and there was Gaius, Octavius, Caesar, Mark Antony, and Marcus, and Lepidus.
The Battle of Philippi took place in 42 BC. It was the last battle in which Antony and Octavian would fight against Brutus and Cassius.
In 31 BC, the Battle of Actium happened, which was Octavian versus Mark Antony, and Octavian won.
This led to the establishment of the empire and the Julio-Claudian dynasty. The following 5 people are the Julio-Claudian emperors.
Augustus's rule as the first emperor was in 27 BC to 14 AD.
Tiberius ruled from 14 to 37, and he was married twice, once to Vipsania, who was Agrippa's daughter, and again to Julia, Augustus's daughter. And Caligula ruled from 37 to 41, and he was assassinated by the Praetorian Guard.
After Caligula's death, his uncle Claudius took power. He managed to survive the assassinations of the previous members of his family by being physically handicapped and thus not being seen as a threat. But when he took power, he proved a capable administrator. He was murdered by his wife in 54 AD to promote her son, Nero. Nero ruled from 54 to 68 AD. His rule had a good start as he had 2 good tutors who led him to rule capably, but he eventually decided that he was not interested in listening to other people's advice, and so he got rid of his tutors and killed his mother and spent the rest of his reign acting in plays and fighting in gladiator fights and building himself the Domus Aurea. At the end of all of this, he committed suicide due to paranoia that he was going to be killed. And that ends the Julio-Claudian emperors, the first family of rulers in Rome.